The crisis has reached the factory floor at Berliner Glas. At the start of 2009, reduced hours were introduced. Since then, employees have been working 5 hours daily instead of the usual 8. Bernhard Kolaczynski says his pay has dropped by a third.
It's a bit tough on the family financially. On the other hand, I'm thankful we're working reduced hours. At 51, I have to be happy to have a job.
Some 120 of his co-workers are in a similar situation. The CEO of Berliner Glas, Andreas Nitze, has had to reduce the hours of a third of his staff. The crisis has been a blow to the manufacturer of photonic systems and specialized glass.
You can see the problem here. This machine is idle. It cost 300 to 500,000 euros. Now it's not being used enough even to pay for its depreciation. We've got lots of idle machines at the moment.
Berliner Glas makes machine parts called wafer chucks, which are used to make electronic chips. The semiconductor industry was one of the first sectors to feel the economic downturn. The revenues for this division are 70% lower than they were in the preceding year. As the crisis spreads, the Works Council is also feeling the pinch. A member explains.
We saw
the first effects in December, and we had to take action. We had to terminate the contracts of temporary workers. We also let limited contracts expire and didn't renew them. A total of 30 workers went at the end of 2008, and if they hadn't reduced the hours, we would have lost another 40 or 50 more.
Working reduced hours has a long tradition in Germany. In Imperial Germany and during the Weimar Republic, shorter hours helped maintain jobs during times of economic crisis.
We've expanded the policy of reduced hours. During this crisis, reduced hours can be implemented for 18 months, and companies just have small residual costs for the hours not worked. We've organized it so that it's nearly free of cost if they train their employees in lieu of hours that they have not worked.
The state supports companies so they can weather the crisis. In return, the firms must prove that their financial difficulties are just temporary and register all reduced hours worked. But managers say the effort is worth it. Andreas Nitze believes the extra flexibility allows him to keep on highly trained employees.
What's key is that when things are looking up again, we've got the capacity and know-how to get back to business immediately. That only works if we can keep our employees through times when the order books are thin.
Kolaczynski and the other workers don't know how long the crisis will last and the machines will be idle. The government is already talking about lengthening the period for reduced hours to 2 years. But economists are critical.
The policymakers simply want to show that they have the will and ability to act. Extending reduced hours won't work. The politicians need to be forced to do something really effective for companies, namely ensure that there's more liquidity for firms.
That's money that the Federal Labor Office needs too. The authorities are already financing reduced hours programs, and more companies are applying for them. Costs are exploding with no end in sight.
It's a difficult situation. Actually being able to make reasonable predictions about where we'll be financially during the summer depends on how long and how severe the effects of the financial crisis continue to be on Germany.
All these measures have their price. This year we'll have the highest level of new debt in the history of the Federal Republic of Germany. In future, every effort must be directed at ensuring inflation doesn't wreck all the supports that we're implementing and urgently need now.
Laying off workers would be even more expensive for the state. It would have to pay unemployment benefits. However, workers already working reduced hours still worry about losing their jobs.
The news reports about people who had reduced hours and are now being laid off anyway. Not here at Berliner Glas, but at other companies. That's always in the back of your mind.
But things are looking up at Berliner Glas. Its management and staff hope that through reduced working hours, they'll get through the crisis until the day when all the machines will be running again.